Ooh, this one is a bit rough, and I did not cover this when it first came out, because when it first came out, I wasn't doing this type of video, but there's been an update to this story, and I figured I'd go over it. So, an extremely rare polar bear attack here in the United States, and two people were killed. It's a very sad event. A woman and her 1-year-old son were recently mauled to death by a polar bear in an ultra-rare attack in Alaska. A new report sheds some light on the tragic event. Last month, a polar bear killed a woman and her 1-year-old child in Alaska. It was the first fatal polar bear attack recorded in the U.S. in more than 30 years. A new report sheds light on what may have caused the tragic event. Experts analyzed the animal's tissues, which revealed the male bear was in poor physical shape and likely elderly. However, it's unknown exactly what triggered the polar bear's attack. It was hungry. And it went after the easiest thing it could. And that easy thing was a 24-year-old mother and her infant son. It doesn't get much easier than that, to be quite honest. That's very sad. They were coming from the son's school, and there was a blizzard, and they couldn't see it. Bear came out of nowhere, attacked and killed them before anyone could do anything to stop it. Then they eventually came and shot the bear. Yeah, it's a very sad situation. Polar bear attacks on people are extremely rare. A wildlife biologist with U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service's Polar Bear Program in Alaska told Live Science in an email. The last U.S. attack happened in 1993, and the last fatality occurred in 1990 in Point Lay, Alaska. So what caused a rare attack? Dr. Kimberly Beckham, a vet at the Alaska Department of Fish and Game Division of Wildlife Conservation, conducted tests on tissue samples collected from the dead polar bear to learn why the animal behaved so aggressively. The results were released February 3rd in a statement from the DWC, excuse me. At the time of the attack, there was a speculation in media that the bear had a brain-altering disease such as rabies, toxoplasmosis, distemper, or bird flu. That's funny. So, I mean, obviously we know what rabies is. Toxoplasmosis is the same thing that affects cats, that makes people who get infected by it like cats. Distempers, usually you would think about distemper with dogs. I had a dog that had distemper and we had to put him down. Or bird flu. Bird flu is the new hot thing right now. You know, all those chickens dying. Bird flu related. These conditions could impact bear behavior. But we don't generally encounter affected bears in the wild. We're unsure of how symptoms would impact the way the bear interacts with people. However, the test carried negative for brain-altering pathogens and said the bear's sex and physical condition were likely to be key factors in influencing the attack. So he's no longer the big bad boy walking the glacier and couldn't hunt the way he used to. So he went after the easiest thing he could, and they're known for stalking people, at least. In a 2017 study published in the Journal of Wildlife Society Bulletin, researchers analyzed data from 73 polar bear attacks between 1870 and 2014 across Canada, Greenland, Norway, Russia, and the U.S., and found that nutritionally stressed adult male bears were the most likely to pose threats to human safety. This latest attack is consistent with those findings. There was no definitive explanation as to why the bear was in poor body condition. And then they go into climate change. But this bear wasn't living on glaciers. It's just an old bear. It happens. And it's just a sad situation. The first fatal... when I read the article originally, they didn't even talk about this 1990 attack. They said it was the first fatal polar bear attack ever in the United States. So, I guess I peddled a little bit of fake news. It's very interesting. Polar bears aren't white. Their coats see-through and it just reflects white. Cool thing to know. But that's crazy. That's still crazy. I can't imagine walking home and running into a polar bear on a way home from school. That's the last thing you ever see. Oh man. They just look so crazy. Oh god, their necks, they just look like they could hit, he could literally just crack your head wide open like an acorn. That's crazy. These guys are nuts. I wouldn't want to mess with a polar bear, ever. I don't want to mess with regular bears, let alone a polar bear. Oh man. Well, very sad situation, a very rare situation. And let's hope this doesn't start happening. And if they're right about it being from climate change, I would not want to live in an area with polar bears. So, yeah. Well, that'll do it for this one. But check out my my Patreon, DNA Reptiles. Got some cool tiers on there. Would like it if you join that. Check out my, Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. I'll have that in the description down below. Appreciate all the support, and I'll catch you tomorrow.